Hi guys, today we are going to discuss the Communal Award of 1932. Now, you know that this is a very important topic for history, GS, GK and any other competitive exam. And this topic actually covers the last 20 years of Indian independence, which is itself a very important part of your syllabus. And this award is a significant moment in Indian history, and we will cover every aspect of it along with 10 MCQs. So the Communal Award of 1932, a divisive strategy in India's constitutional struggle. Let's get started. Table of contents, what we are going to cover in this video. First, what was the Communal Award? Historical context, that is why was it announced? Key provisions of the award, reactions and responses, Gandhi and the Indian National Congress, Dr. B.R. Ambedkar and the depressed classes, Muhammad Ali Jinnah and the Muslim League, the Pune Pact, a compromise, long-term consequences and significance, and conclusion. Now, first of all, what was the Communal Award? The definition of the Communal Award is that it is a policy announced by the British Prime Minister Ramsay MacDonald on August 16, 1932. So the important date here is August 16, 1932, the day when the policy or the award was announced. The purpose of this communal award was to grant separate electorates to different religious communities and marginalized groups in British India for the proposed new constitution. So the proposed new constitution was the major target of this award, and there the marginalized groups that time existed in India would have a separate electorate within British India. That was the purpose of the award. What was the core idea? It extended the system of separate electorates beyond Muslims and Sikhs to new groups, most controversially to the depressed classes, now known as scheduled castes or Dalits. So nowadays the community which are demarcated as Dalits or scheduled castes were called depressed classes at that time. The historical context, the need for an award. First, the second round table conference, which was held in 1931, it failed to reach a consensus between Indian leaders on the issue of minority representation. So Indian leaders could not come to a conclusion regarding the issue of minority representation. Congress demanded a united secular electorate. Muslim League and others demanded protection through separate electorates. Dr. B.R. Ambedkar forcefully argued for a separate political identity and electorate for the depressed classes to escape upper caste domination. So Dr. B.R. Ambedkar actually argued for a separate electorate for the depressed classes. Why? To escape upper caste domination. Now the deadlock for the meeting was that with no agreement, the British government reserved the right to settle the issue themselves. Now the British government would try to have a solution of this problem by themselves because there was no agreement among these political leaders and the parties. The key provisions of the Communal Award. The award proposed separate electorates. For whom? For Muslims, for Sikhs, for Indian Christians, for Anglo-Indians, and for Europeans. The depressed classes, Dalits, this was the most contentious provision. Women were also allocated reserved seats. It also provided for seats to be allotted to labor, commerce, and industry. The principle was divide and rule institutionalized. Reactions. Mahatma Gandhi and the Indian National Congress. Vehement opposition came from Mahatma Gandhi and the Indian National Congress. Gandhi saw it as a vivisection of the Hindu community that would permanently divide Hindus and Dalits. So for Gandhi, this award was basically to divide the Hindus and the Dalits. He began a fast unto death from his prison cell in Yeryada jail, Pune on September 20, 1932. Yerwada jail, Pune on September 20, 1932. So this is again an important date to remember, that Gandhi started his fast against the Pune Pact against the Communal Award on September 20, 1932. He believed it would destroy the social reform movement from within Hinduism. Reactions Dr. B.R. Ambedkar and the depressed classes. Dr. B.R. Ambedkar and the depressed classes initially welcomed the award. Dr. B.R. Ambedkar saw it as a necessary political tool for the empowerment and liberation of the depressed classes. So for him, this award was very important for the depressed classes. He believed it would give them a genuine voice in the political process, free from the influence of upper caste Hindus. So for Dr. B.R. Ambedkar argued that this communal award will actually reduce the influence of upper caste Hindus. Now Gandhi's fast put immense pressure on Ambedkar to negotiate a compromise. Reactions of Muhammad Ali Jinnah and the Muslim League. Jinnah and Muslim League generally accepted the award. It protected the existing electorates for Muslims, which the League saw as essential for safeguarding Muslim political interests. For Muhammad Ali Jinnah and the Muslim League, this communal award was essential for safeguarding Muslim political interests. Reinforced the league's strategy of pursuing political rights for Muslims as a distinct community. So the community value of the Muslims actually went along with the communal award. Now the Pune Pact, the compromise. So what happened was, forced by Gandhi's fast, Ambedkar negotiated with Gandhi's representatives, that is Madan Mohan Malviya. So the important information here is Madan Mohan Malviya, who was the representative on behalf of Gandhi to have a negotiation with Ambedkar. The pact was signed on September 24th, 1932. What were the key terms of the pact? It abolished the separate electorate for the depressed classes. Instead, a much larger number of seats were reserved for them within the general Hindu electorate. So the nature of the electorate remained Hindu. Last, voters from the depressed classes would elect primary candidates, and the general electorate would then vote for them in a final election. So there will be a final election from which the final candidate or the general candidate for the Hindu general electorate would be selected. Long-term consequences and significance. First, immediate consequence was that it saved Gandhi's life and ended the crisis. Now, political empowerment. The Pune Pact significantly increased the number of reserved seats for Dalits, giving them greater political representation. So the reserved seats for Dalits were increased in the Pune Pact, which actually gave them a greater political representation. Deepened divisions highlighted and hardened the communal divisions in Indian politics, and that the British exploited. So the political atmosphere after the Pune Pact was favorable for the British to exploit further. Dalit politics marked a critical moment in the emergence of independent Dalit political consciousness. though it also created a lasting tension between integrationist and separatist approaches. Now, integrationist and separatist approaches are nothing but integrationist approaches is the approach taken by Gandhi and Indian National Congress, and the separatist approaches are basically the approach which talks about separate electorates. Constitutional impact. The system of reserved seats became a key feature of the Indian Constitution after independence. So we know that this particular feature, that is a reserved seat for the depressed classes, which we now know as SC or Dalits. After independence also, Indian Constitution incorporated this idea into their system. Conclusion. The Communal Award was a classic example of the British divide and rule policy. It exposed the deep fissures within Indian society along religious and caste lines. The Pune Pact was a crucial compromise that shaped the future of Dalit representation and Hindu social politics. So the Pune Pact is basically a kind of a landmark for Dalit representation and Hindu social politics. And its legacy is a reminder of the complex challenges of managing diversity, representation, social justice in a democracy. So after independence, all these things like representation, social justice, which came into being, was a kind of, historical legacy of the Pune Pact. Now we are going to discuss 10 MCQs and see how much we can answer from whatever we have discussed. First question, the Communal Award was announced in which year? So it's 1929A, no. B 1930, no. C 1932, yes. C 1932 is the correct answer. Second question, who was the British Prime Minister responsible for announcing the Communal Award? A. Winston Churchill, B. Stanley Baldwin, C. Ramsay MacDonald. So, answer C will be correct here. Then, 3. The primary purpose of the Communal Award was to grant independence to India. No. Define separate electorates for different communities. Yes, this is the primary purpose of the Communal Award. Next, which Indian leader famously went on a fast unto death in protest against the Communal Award? A. Jawaharlal Nehru, no. B. Mahatma Gandhi. Yes, we already have discussed that Mahatma Gandhi went on a fast unto death in protest against the Communal Award. 5. The Pune Pact of 1932 was a direct result of the protest against the Communal Award. What did it achieve? A. It accepted the award's terms for separate electorates. No. B. It replaced separate electorates with reserved seats for the depressed classes. Yes, this is true. It replaced separate electorates with reserved seats for the depressed classes. 6. The Communal Award was announced after the failure of which major event? A. Non-cooperation movement, no. B. Civil disobedience movement, no. Third, Second Roundtable Conference, yes. Second Roundtable Conference is the correct answer, which was held in 1931. Which community besides Muslims was already granted separate electorates before the Communal Award? Sikhs, no. Christians, yes. So, Christians already, like the Muslims, already had a separate electorates before the coming of the Communal Award. Communal Award was basically against the division among the different communities in the Hindu religion. The Communal Award was perceived by the Indian National Congress as step towards independence, no. A fair solution for all communities, no. A policy of divide and rule, yes. Which prominent leader of the depressed classes initially supported the Communal Award? Jyotirao Phule, no. B.R. Ambedkar. You know that initially he supported the award. Last question. How did the British government incorporate the modified terms of the Communal Award into law? Indian Councils Act 1909, no. Government of India Act 1935, yes. This is Government of India Act 1935, which came just after the Pune Pact, and through this the British government incorporated the modified terms of the Communal Award into law. So the Communal Award was made into a law in the Government of India Act 1935. Thank you for being with me. I hope it helped you to make an understanding or a comprehensive overview of the Communal Award. Uh, Please comment if you have any suggestions or any other topic you want me to cover, and do share and subscribe. Thank you.